go, yeah.
What you want with me? What you want with me, man?
That's it, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
On December 30th, 2023, a commercial flight arriving at Tampa International Airport ended with a passenger in handcuffs facing felony charges for conduct that began at 40,000 feet. He was convinced he had done nothing illegal. But had he? And where exactly does the law draw the line?
Active flight.
Well, where's the passenger? What do you guys got? Okay.
Yeah, he just got nasty with the person across from him. He just got really aggressive during taxi.
Aggressive, like how aggressive? Like what did he do?
To pretty much punch everyone.
Did he punch anybody?
He didn't punch anyone. He did hit
people up.
the girl that was next to him. He did hit her, and then said that he was hearing voices. She's in the back if you want to talk. She has the whole story.
Okay, but there's no physical assault, just guys being disruptive?
Yeah, super disruptive.
Okay.
Can
you call him off?
Shut the don't read it down. Yeah,
you hear him?
I know what I did. Yo, I did. Out of here. Who the wants me?
Over here. Let's go, yeah.
What you want with me? What you want with me, man? I ain't done nothing but broken here.
You're about to get arrested.
Yeah, for what? For what? I ain't done nothing but broken.
What's the orderly, man? Up the top.
I'll go to the top. What you want with me? I ain't done nothing but rode an airplane. I ain't done nothing but rode an airplane.
One more, buddy. You're going to jail for disorderly.
Disorderly?
Keep walking.
Who gives a about disorderly? Where's the girl that was sitting next to me? Where's she
Get
at?
him up there when he says it.
Where's she at?
We're going to talk to you in a second. Just relax.
Where's the
He's up there and he says this. He's going.
on the airplane? Are y'all kidding me?
Let's go.
Give me a disorderly.
Last warning, buddy. Watch your mouth. You're going to jail.
I don't give a about
That's
jail.
it, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I'll go to jail. I don't give a about jail,
I
bud.
gave you 3 warnings, buddy.
Excuse me?
Warned you 3 times.
For what?
For being disorderly. Get up here with all these people around.
I haven't.
Swearing.
Man, I'm not disorderly. I'm worried about the chick that was sitting next to me on the airport.
We're past that.
Okay? Well, fine. Well, take me out of here. You can carry my bag. Thank you, sir.
Your bag's going to stay here. It's going to go lost and found. It's not going to go with you to the jail.
Really? I can't get my luggage.
Nope. It's not going to be. It's going to be here when you get out. But
I got C31 bring 35 seniors.
Why y'all gonna do this to me, man?
you did it to yourself.
I haven't done nothing. None of you.
Well, you wouldn't stop cussing. We gave you about 10 times.
Well, cussing. Okay. Well, let's stop right here a minute. Let's talk about cussing.
No, it's past that.
Well, you and cussing, okay?
There you go. That's why you're going right there.
What? Are you kidding me? That's not a crime.
It's called disorderly conduct. It actually
It's
is a
called
crime.
bullshit.
There it is.
It's called bullshit, brother. And why you got these things so tight on my
They're not tight. I could fit 2 fingers on there.
You're bullshit too. You're bullshit too, you little short little freak butler.
At least I'm not in cuffs.
I don't understand yet what we're doing.
Let me explain to you. You were cussing. We told you to stop to cuss.
Okay.
You continue to cuss. So now you're going to jail.
For cussing.
Correct. Disorderly conduct.
Boy, you guys are something.
Yeah.
Y'all taking me to jail for cussing.
Yeah, Florida State statute.
I lived in Florida all my life.
There you go.
Longer than you ever lived, probably. That's what you take me to jail for, cussing?
No, your mouth.
You and me. And
Really my type.
what? What the f is wrong with you guys, man? You are about 4'2". You belong in a. I'll beat the shit out of you as soon as you.
Is that a threat? Are you threatening? You threatening an officer? Is that am I hearing that?
No,
okay.
We're gonna have charges.
Okay, that's what I.
No, I had no charges.
I
I could.
Yeah.
I'm saying anybody could.
Yes, will.
Yeah, my stepson could.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're a punk. You're a punk. What are you, 4'5"?
3'2".
You're 5'6".
Just the same height as you.
You're a bunch of punks. What the are we doing, man?
All the way from the airplane all the way here, just like this.
For what?
All right, we're gonna search you, okay?
Hey, search me.
We're going to.
Go ahead. I got nothing. What you gonna search me for?
Anything, really.
Well, go ahead. Y'all have fun.
I didn't really need your consent.
I know you didn't, because you're a prick. You're a punk. You're a ain't you?
I'm going home tonight, I can tell you that much.
I bet you are. What you got there? Ooh, lifesaver.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Sign.
Something.
Where's that? That'll get thrown out.
That's a cigar.
It was a cigar.
Ooh-wee. You guys are something.
Thank you.
The y'all arrested me for?
You got an undershirt? No.
Could you answer me that, sir? Okay. Like you dropped something on the ground there.
Yeah, the lighter's gonna go in the garbage.
What, you gonna throw my lighter in the garbage?
Yep.
You're a piece of shit.
Just this one.
You're a piece of shit.
Hey, sir. That's another charge right there.
I don't give a
Yes, sir. I have a file going to an FAA. It's my understanding there was a little bit of a ruckus after he got off the airplane, too.
Yeah, he got into resist with officers, so he's going to go to jail for battery on a police officer, resist, and disturbing.
So you call it resist?
That's battery. He headbutted that officer there. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so. Yeah, he'll go for battery on law enforcement officer, felony, resist with violence, felony, disturbing the peace.
And at one point, I was going to confront, because he was starting to get disruptive. I was going to have a conversation with him to calm down, but then he kind of went to sleep. I was like, I don't want to make the situation worse at this point. So I was like, let's just try to get to Tampa quietly. And he slept pretty much for the rest of the flight, because he didn't even notice that she left. But when we landed, then all of a sudden he was like, where is the girl? Where is she? Where is the girl? Like, where is the girl that was right here? It was just like super agitated. A threat to punch the person next to him. Bill tried to get him to calm down. He got up out of the seat and charged Bill, hit his head, and then sat back down. And he was like, you don't want me beating your ass, and like...
And racial slurs.
Yes.
He kept threatening the guy
And others.
directly across from him over and over
Right, did
again.
he physically harm any of the flight crew at all?
No.
Okay.
Verbally abusive.
He
Verbally
threatened
abusive?
to, but he did not.
Yeah, okay. And what did the threats amount to? Just like you said, I'm going to beat your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically.
beat your ass, got people
And
locked up.
slurs.
163 aircraft classification.
Yeah, we've got some written
Copy.
statements. So you can all write down your thoughts and what you witnessed. So that'll be here in just a few minutes. If you could just be patient, I appreciate it. I know it's been a long flight and a long morning for you. So if you could bear with us. It's the beginning of my day, so I got a lot of energy. So I know I'm asking a lot. And I made my coffee extra strong this morning. So I forgive the energy level. But please, if there's anything you need until that paperwork gets here, just please ask me and let me know. Young lady, same. I'm going to ask if you could just be patient. And I'll apologize for my energy level because I haven't been on a flight all night. So, do you need, you were struck, I understand that, right? Do you need any medical attention, you feel? Are you injured in any way?
Okay.
It just scared me more than anything.
I could understand that,
It was a lot
yes.
of force, but he did swing over and it hit me like right in my neck. He just swung his arm over.
22 control. They have more questions. They can call me.
She's trying to disengage, so he wouldn't really let her disengage.
I'm sorry, who to call you?
I told him I wanted to take a nap.
Let Travis know if the TCC has more questions. They can call me.
As soon as I like turn over, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes after that, he just
Copy.
swung his arm over and then he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I was just hearing voices." And I was like, "Oh yeah, no." And then as soon as he dropped his head to go to sleep, that's when I got up and I told her that I wanted to be moved.
Wise decisions there.
Yeah, he was definitely not okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what happened and occurred on the plane, I haven't even met the person, so I don't even know. I got here after the officers already took him and put him in the police car. So I don't know anything about him.
I can't imagine that he wouldn't have some kind of record with the way he was behaving.
He kept saying, then he asked me at one point if I was black or not, but then kept using the N-word. But like,
And there was right behind him.
But
And
with
he kept using that one.
Yeah, but with
I called the jail, let them know about your passenger. When you get there, just advise me again when they buzz you in.
he kept saying, he's like, this is
I was going to do that anyway.
I need to move. I want to move. It's scaring me a little bit.
Yeah.
It's scaring me.
Okay. Well, that's frightening.
Well,
Yeah, make it at 40 or 45,000 feet, it gets even worse.
Well, and when the pilots come out to use the bathroom, we have to have someone standing guard facing the
Yes.
cabin. And I thought that they were, I didn't realize that, you know,
121.
what's going on, but
Copy your case.
the whole time, and you could tell he kept really watching the flight deck and everything, and it seemed like he was kind of mocking our procedures or something. I think he thinks it's funny that I'm somehow going to protect you or something.
No,
but,
he's
but
like,
yeah,
he's like, what is she going to do? If I wanted to do something, I would still be able to do something. She's
Yeah.
not going to be able to stop me. And I'm just like, oh, like.
I couldn't hear him, but you know, you get a vibe for your passengers on
Yeah.
board, you know, and you got your eye on certain people. But
Okay.
yeah, he was a problem the whole time. It's like he's probably got a warrant for his arrest, or he's got a history.
Like, I didn't notice anything weird.
Maybe
He
the
was
drink
okay at
sent him over
first.
the
I
edge.
don't know, like when he first got on the plane, he just like, you know, he said hi and stuff, and then he went to sleep. And then he was asleep. I was watching a movie. He was asleep pretty much for like an hour and a half, a little bit over an hour and a half. And then after he woke up, he was like, why didn't you nudge me like this and wake me up? I told you I wanted a drink. And then he asked me to get him over there so he could get a drink.
Control 137, baby.
By that point, it was just way too much.
All right, let's break down the legal analysis. The disorderly conduct arrest rests on Florida Statute Section 877.03, which targets behavior that outrages public decency or provokes a breach of the peace. The subject's defense that profanity is constitutionally protected has a foundation in Cohen v. California, 403 U.S. 151971, which confirmed that offensive language alone cannot sustain a criminal conviction. But Cohen governs passive expression only, applied to sustained racial slurs, repeated physical threats, and continued escalation after 10 documented officer warnings. That defense collapses before it begins. And the doctrine that collapses it is Chaplinsky v. New Hampshire, 315 U.S. 568-1942. The Supreme Court held that fighting words language that by its very utterance tends to provoke an immediate breach of the peace fall entirely outside First Amendment protection. This is not a fringe ruling. It remains binding precedent. Directed racial slurs, explicit threats of physical violence, and a sustained pattern of aggression in a confined public space satisfy Chaplinsky's threshold without ambiguity. The arrest was constitutionally grounded from the first warning cycle. Once the arrest was lawful, the search that followed was equally unassailable. Schimmel v. California, 395 U.S. 752-1969, authorizes a full search of the subject's person incident to a lawful arrest, no warrant required, no consent required. When the subject objected, the officer correctly stated that his consent was unnecessary. That was not an assertion of authority. That was an accurate statement of Fourth Amendment law, on camera, in real time. But the search was not the turning point. The turning point came when officers confirmed the subject had headbutted a law enforcement officer during the initial encounter. That single act activated 2 separate felony statutes. Florida Statute, Section 784-072. Battery on a law enforcement officer is a third-degree felony carrying up to 5 years. Florida Statute Section 843.01. Resisting with violence carries the same exposure. Combined 10 years of potential incarceration for conduct the subject apparently did not believe would have consequences. The use of force framework that governs everything officers did from that moment forward is established in Graham v. Connor, 490 U.S. 386-1989. The court held that reasonableness must be judged from the perspective of a reasonable officer on the scene, not in hindsight, not from the comfort of a courtroom. A subject who has already headbutted an officer is classified at the highest tier of active aggression on the use of force continuum. Every enforcement decision that followed was legally defensible on that standard alone. And then there is the federal dimension, which is where this case takes on its most serious legal weight, under 49 U.S.C. Section 46504, any person who, by assault or intimidation of a flight crew member, interferes with or lessens that member's capacity to perform their duties, commits a federal felony carrying up to 20 years imprisonment. Flight crew testimony captured on Bodycam, including the subject's statement that the attendant couldn't stop him if he wanted to act, directly satisfies the intimidation element of that statute. This is no longer a state misdemeanor conversation. This is a federal criminal exposure that dwarfs everything else on the charge sheet. One final legal thread deserves attention. The subject's mid-flight arm swing, followed by a statement that he had been hearing voices, opens a potential defense avenue under Florida Statute Section 775.027, Florida's insanity statute, which provides a complete defense where mental disease or defect prevented the defendant from understanding the nature of their act or that it was wrong. Whether that survives psychiatric scrutiny is a question for trial, but it is a thread the defense will almost certainly pull. That is the full legal picture, and it is a complicated one. With the legal framework in place, let's evaluate the parties. The lead officer earns a B+. Officers documented warnings well beyond what probable cause required under Illinois versus Gates, 462 U.S. 2131983, applied the on-camera two-finger handcuff verification and maintained composure throughout sustained racial abuse and personal insults. One deduction, a single reactive verbal remark during escort, while humanly understandable, is the category of statement that becomes exhibit material in Section 1983 Civil Rights Claims. Minor exposure in an otherwise clean record, but in a Bodycam era, minor exposures are avoidable. The subject receives a D. He entered this encounter with a legally defensible argument that profanity alone is insufficient for a disorderly conduct charge, and then systematically invalidated it through every subsequent decision. He converted a potential misdemeanor into 2 third-degree felonies and federal criminal exposure entirely through his own conduct. Partial legal knowledge exercised without legal judgment is not a mitigating factor. In this case, it was the foundation of every miscalculation that followed. Now, before we close, 3 lessons stand out from this encounter, and they're worth sitting with. The first concerns the danger of incomplete legal knowledge. The subject knew one rule: profanity alone isn't a crime. What he didn't understand was that Florida Statute Section 877.03 is triggered not by a single act, but by cumulative conduct setting, audience, pattern, and refusal to comply after warning. Knowing half a legal principle doesn't protect you. In fact, it can give you precisely enough confidence to walk straight into a felony charge. The second lesson is about how quickly a misdemeanor becomes something far more serious. A disorderly conduct arrest is not a fixed outcome. It is a starting point. Every act of resistance, every threat, every contact with an officer opens a new statutory door. Sections 784.07 and 843.01 don't require intent to commit a felony. They require only the act. The law does not cap charges at the level of the initial offense, and conduct during an arrest is independently chargeable. That is not a technicality. That is how the system is designed. The third lesson belongs to law enforcement. Officers who document compliance on camera, the handcuff check, the repeated warnings, the charge explanations are building an evidentiary record that preemptively addresses the most common civil claims before those claims are ever filed. In a Bodycam era, professional conduct and litigation defense are not separate objectives. Every procedurally correct act on camera is simultaneously an enforcement decision and a legal shield. That discipline, applied consistently, is what separates a defensible record from a liability. That brings us to the end of today's analysis. If you found this breakdown useful, let us know in the comments which legal issues stood out most, whether it was the First Amendment limits, the federal aviation statute, or the felony escalation mechanics. And if there is a police interaction or legal topic you'd like analyzed in a future video, drop it below. Thank you for watching.